So do you think you learn more in many respects from defeat or adverse situations than you do from succeeding?
Yeah, unfortunately, yes. It's the tough experiences. They always, while they are painful, and I hate painful experiences. Probably most of us do. It's in hindsight, they really catapult me to the next level. So I could not have qualified, for example, for the 24-hour World Champs team if I hadn't properly failed trying to get into the 100-kilometer team. It was because in that race, while it was very painful and not the race I wanted, I really asked myself, why am I doing this? And I tapped into it. I am an explorer. I actually want to grow through these experiences. And once that mindset is there, it's a complete shift, because then failure is not the end of the world. Then failure is just part of the process in a way. And while we all try to avoid it, well, when it's there, you might as well embrace it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've got some more questions coming through. Thank you for so much, so many great questions, by the way, everyone. So Frank wonders, is there a much higher resistance for organisational change with teams working from home? Interesting question. And it's a good practice to deal with it. What are you seeing out there, Kai?
Teams working from it. I find that a really interesting one. So if we think 18 months back,
Yep.
Probably most people would not have imagined that working from home is even really a possibility. I mean, let's be honest, most organizations have not been set up for it. And if we look at where are we as an economy, first of all, Australia is going relatively well. I know it depends on the sector, and I know lots of people, it's very tough for them right now. So I do acknowledge that. But as an economy, as a whole, we're not going badly. So therefore, somehow working from home has not really harmed us. I think lots of companies have surprised themselves at how well it is working, and how much added benefits there is from also working at home. Now, I'm not saying that means that everybody going forward should just be at home, because I also feel teams will always benefit from some kind of physical connection in terms of just meeting and spending time together, because it is harder having a really deep personal conversation and connecting to people just via Zoom versus having a chat next to the coffee machine. I mean, that's a reality, but it just, I think it has been a right turn for businesses of saying, well, we've done something we've never done before, and yes, it isn't perfect as such, but it's working way better than any of us thought about it. And I would invite leaders who say, yeah, we have to now it's time to go back to 100% the old way,
Yeah.
which might be appropriate in some businesses depending on what they do. But I would really invite those leaders to ask themselves, what are you afraid of? Because you can learn something about yourself there and see what is it you might have to let go to get to the next level of leadership, because it typically is a fear. It's the fear of losing control in very many instances. It's that fear I felt before my first mystery run, of saying, if I just run with a friend of mine, I am out of control, and I can tell you, out of control is not what I want to be.
Time for a couple more questions. Jamie, so we're talking performance. Do you find you have a window per day when you typically have a strong focus and higher performance? And do you tailor your day around this? I always say to our team here that you need to know when you do your best work. And I think one of the benefits of the world now is that this clock in, clock out, 9 to 5 mentality is dead in the water. Like, personally, I like to do any writing I'm doing early in the morning. I know that's when I'm best at that sort of stuff, or average at that sort of stuff. But I think it's knowing when you do your best work. And in the new world, we're able to do that. What advice can you give us around that, Kai?
Absolutely. Know yourself. It's the first thing. I mean, I get it. Some people are morning people, other people are somehow late night people. Is make it work for you. I'm a morning person. It's like, don't ask me at 8 p.m. to be productive. That's when I'm in somehow shutting down mode. And So if I wanted to do something, for example, while I was writing my book, I was really writing it in the mornings. That was the productive time of just getting new content out there, probably up to lunchtime. The afternoons were all about reviewing stuff I'd already written, which is somehow I found less mentally taxing. And it's somehow more like do something which is a bit more routine. And yes, I understand there are meetings which we might not always be able to influence, but why not even somehow question that of saying, we've noticed that meetings in the mornings certain meetings might be way more productive or a waste of time, then move them to the afternoon or keep them in the morning. It's just really challenge the status quo and make it work for you and for others and have a conversation around it.
Yeah, fantastic. We've got time for a couple more questions. Juan wonders, what mental processes do you use when physical pain and doubt start to appear in race or indeed life?
Yes.
Where's the gold?
It's first of all, I'm not doing the default. It's not about pushing the pain away. That's probably what most people would do and what I did in the past. It's not working. When you're running for 69 hours and you push away the pain at hour 24, I'm just making it up, there's still far long to go. It is not working pushing anything away. I'm actually trying to tune into it rather than to disassociate myself from it. And that is a way better strategy, because in a way, by accepting the discomfort, I noticed that it's actually dissipating it by its own. It's really the resistance which is the suffering. It's not the pain as such. So I'm not particularly pain tolerant, not at all. I hate pain, but by just focusing on it, trying to see what does it have to say, and somehow giving it a chance to just do its thing, it normally disappears. And that is counterintuitive, but very, very powerful.
Fantastic. We've got time for one last question. We're actually going to combine questions from Fiona and Caroline because they're related, both of whom are senior organizational change leaders, project leaders. And it's really around the balance between wanting to come into the office, spending time in that face-to-face, human-to-human interactions, but a lot of people still wanting to work remotely. So is there any advice you can give or offer as ways to perhaps, get some more face-to-face time and get those relationships? One of the things we did was, team meetings in the park, for example. So people are in an outdoor setting and we got some burgers in the park. But can you just speak briefly around that, Kai? And then I think we're out of time.
I think that the first thing I would encourage is really deep listening to everybody. It's having a conversation around it to understand where everybody's coming from. Because when somebody says, I don't want to come into the office, what is really the reason behind it? And we probably don't, in many cases, we don't really understand why that is the case. And it might just be the fear of saying, well, now I'm a creature of habit back home. Is as much as I was afraid early on to actually work from home, now I'm afraid of working in the office. And it's just the kind of transition question. Others just, I don't know what people would answer, but really listen to it and find a common vision of what does everybody need, because they're kind of aligning teams. That's probably a key leadership task, is becoming good at aligning people, because we all start from different positions, whatever challenge you're facing. How do we get alignment? How does everybody get their needs met? And it's not an either or. It's not either at home or it's in the office. It's what is somehow the workable solution there. And it starts with listening and starts with a dialogue and not being afraid of the outcome and pushing down an agenda. That is a very different approach.
That's an amazing way to finish. The importance of listening as a great leader. As someone used to say to me, 2 ears, 1 mouth, use them in direct proportions. So Kai, thank you very much for taking, I know you're a very busy person. Thank you for taking the time to join us this morning. I'd encourage everyone to connect with Kai on LinkedIn, share some great content. Obviously the book Turning Right is brilliant. We've got a note of the people who've commented. We'll be getting your details and in contact to arrange to send you your book. Ladies and gentlemen, Kai Bretz, thank you again.
Thank you so much for having me, and all the best turning right for anybody. I'm curious to learn about your right turn, so please let me know.